Hello everyone and welcome. It's the Summit 3 presented by Gigabyte China Qualifier, and we have finally made it here into the final series, a best of 3 matchup of LGD Gaming taking on EHOME. And well, this is not the first time these two teams have squared up. They just met in the winner bracket semifinal in what had to be one of the fastest best of 3s I've ever casted. It was me and Puppy, and it was like an hour long. Game 2 ended in 13 minutes, so you can expect that maybe that series had a bit of influence on the current betting odds. Well, I'm going to be Colo Guy bringing you the action here from beyond the summit, but I'm not going at it alone. Believe it or not, joining me remotely, I got none other than Mr. David Paca. Gods, how you doing, buddy? Do you agree with the odds that it's 75-25 for LGD?
I think LGD have some, at least, momentum coming in, but I don't know about 75%. That is some one-sided odds coming out from the bettors here, but either way, I'm excited. By the end of tonight, we know which Chinese team is going to join Vici Gaming coming to the LAN finals.
Only 10 seconds.
I think LGD, I would say more like 65-35.
Yeah, we'll have to see which squad's going to roll up here into the BTS house, probably play a lot of FIFA, have a hard time interacting with. We'll have to find out, but it's going to be a lot of fun nonetheless. These guys can play Dota, and it would be a privilege to be able to meet any of these Dota legends right here. I mean, EHOME is a star-studded cast of, I believe, like, the majority of this group used to be known as, like, the old gods, or the old boys, the old men. They're kind of like the Ocean's 11 of Dota, almost. I mean, ROTK and Flame. Lanham, of course, is a legendary support player in his own right. And then they got some, like, young blood. They got some great carrying potential there in ZYF. He's really strutted his stuff, shown phenomenal morphling, jug throughout the tournament so far. And then you got LGD, you know, one of the most prestigious names in Dota, and you got your director, Mr. Zhao Wei. Sylar, he may fall, but he can definitely carry a team if he needs to, and I'm just real excited. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really curious to see how this series is going to pan out, because I said before, the last time they met, I don't know if you got to see it, Gods, but it was just ridiculous. They were just like butting heads, and they wanted to see who was going to cave first. The draft would fly by. They would just, it was just very uncharacteristic. They were ready to brawl, and when they're like, you know what, we got our ass beat enough, we're just going to call it here. And then the game was over. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I called those games a few days later, and I was a bit surprised by just how one-sided they were. But I imagine EHOME will come into this best of 5 a bit more prepared. They'll look back on those games, kind of see where maybe some things went wrong, adjust their draft accordingly, and well, we'll see how the draft unravels here. So it's going to be a first-pick sniper from LGD Gaming. Queen of Pain coming out from EHOME. No Troll picked or banned yet.
Where's Troll?
Okay.
What's going on? Maybe these teams mean a silent agreement with each other, and they're like, listen, we're not going to pick Troll. You're not going to pick Troll. We're just going to ignore the hero, because, you know, people were like throwing it out already that the hero has like a 100% pick and ban rate, more often banned than not, but it's just, that starts to raise a flag amongst the whole Dota community and hopefully the Valve crew, and we'll have to see. And it still continues to be ignored here, as EHOME are going to pick up an early morphling. And now this is something ever since the strength morphling has begun to come back into the limelight here for more of the teams, is if you pick this hero up early, you can really control a draft. I mean, now you're looking at it and it's like, we don't know where this is going to go. If we tried to influence our own draft to counter this pick, you could end up biting yourself, you know, or, you know, shooting yourself in the foot, because the strengths are good counters to a strength morphling is going to be a problem for the agility morphling and such and so forth. Like, for example, you know, back in the day, Elder Titan was always picked up to go against agility morphling. Well, if you get an Elder Titan here, the strength morphling has no problem with that. He really has no armor to really worry about, and then you can just use the replicate, and you suddenly have natural order on your own side. So I was curious if teams were going to start picking up morphling early and then deciding whether or not they're going to change its position later on.
And funnily enough, it was the LGD Gaming side who banned out the AA, which is one of the better counters to the morphling in general, be it a support morphling or offlane morphling or a carry morphling. The one time EHOME have run this year in the last kind of like week or so was as a farming role against IG when they managed to 2-0 IG the other day. So I would lean more towards the farming morphling, but kind of like you said, it's flexible. It doesn't really reveal too much because you can put it in that offlane role. You can put in that support role if you want to, but I think kind of looking at history
Radiant
is more
spam.
likely to be that safe lane farming morphling, and great against the right-click heroes, great against the sniper. They'll maybe
Dire's
worried about a
banned.
troll coming out as a second pick, and if you go troll sniper, a lot of right-click physical damage, morphling has some of the best just armor growth in the game because of the nature of this hero and how much agi he gains. He suddenly
Radiant's
has like
banned.
15, 20, 25 armor in a late game setting just by his sheer basic items. So he actually matches up pretty well against these sniper troll type heroes because of that.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely a lot of characteristics there with regardless what Morphling it ends up being that could work very nicely in a game like
10
this. That gap
seconds to
closing
pick.
capability is one of the big things that pops out to me, and getting hold of that pesky little sniper, whether
5
it's
seconds.
on one side
Hurry,
where you just want to be
hurry.
there to really lock him down and abuse that ridiculous stun, or if you're just kind of there to get in his face and dish out that serious right click. And gods, I'm just assuming they made an
Dire
agreement,
team
because
are
otherwise we're
picking.
about to witness history with this troll being completely ignored. So I'm assuming, and they talked a lot in the lobby. Unfortunately, I don't speak the language, but I'm assuming they came to an agreement that there will be no troll played today, because this is just out of control right here. But anyways, moving on forward, Rubik now going to get picked up here, and Rubik's one of those supports that could be very nice against the Morphling, so maybe there's a small bit of influence that they want to take that option away from LGD. I
Only
mean,
10
we know
seconds.
MMY can play a solid Morphling, but same goes for the side of EHOME. They have
5
Lanham, who's been
seconds
playing it a lot
remaining.
as of recent, and he still has plenty of tools to work with here, being able to pretty much steal anything from
Reserve
Lina.
time.
Hell, he would even mind picking up the Assassinate there from Sniper, but they like to play this hero pretty aggressive. You'll see a lot of early movement here and looking to kind of get things set up. And Telekinesis I almost consider like the poor man Yules, and it could certainly help out whoever they get as his potential +1.
I think it's a solid
Radiant
overall pick
team are
here.
now
Even
picking.
Null Filled, one of those really underrated spells. You've got decent magic damage coming out from your Lina, your Sniper Shrapnel being magic damage, and LG Gaming, I think seeing this and just the general play coming out from EHOME, they're going to pick up the Venge here. So they want to get some right-click damage and some ability to take Roshan in the mid-game here. So they get the Venge for some minus armor to also boost up their physical damage. But still, kind of as mentioned earlier, Morphling not going to be too bothered by this. If anything, the Lina pick is
Only 10
largely
seconds.
designed to be able to burst down that Morphling kind of around that mid-game stage,
5
maybe even be
seconds.
played
Hurry,
as a core,
hurry.
although it seems most teams in China are at least preferring to run that Lina as that 4 positions.
Reserve time.
We could see an Axe pickup here if this is just going to be your standard carry Morphling. That's another one of the heroes that surprisingly has been ignored up to
10
this point. And
seconds to
Jug
pick.
as well. You know, these were the, Jug, Sniper, Troll, and
5
Axe. That was
seconds
like the
remain.
big 4. And we're seeing
Dire
the
team
majority of those
pick.
heroes ignored up to this point. It's actually a nice breath of fresh air. And now we get to see Tidehunter, a hero that pretty much everyone outside of the Chinese scene have just decided they don't care for anymore. But over here, ROTK loves his
Radiant's
Tidehunter. He is the captain, and if he feels like he's going to go ahead and rep it, he'll do it. And in their matchup just yesterday, when they went toe-to-toe with Hyperglory Team, he landed some phenomenal ravages. He got a nicely timed, early arcane boot into the blink dagger, and then the
Only
refresher
10
there at the
seconds.
end, and he showed how much a Tidehunter can still bring to the table as far as
5
team fight
seconds
goes. So
remain.
they get him there. They don't have to worry about the Rubik on the other team. And
Dire's
well,
banned.
just before I can even finish talking, there's going to be the Jug now picked up on LGD.
Yeah, to me, the Tide is just one of
Radiant team are now
RTK's
picking.
just quintessential heroes at this point. He plays it a lot, he's comfortable on it, it gives him the team fight they were kind of missing out on. The Queen of Pain alone is some good burst damage, but needs that good setup and that big ultimate maybe to fight around, which it seems EHOME like to use. The Tide will offer them that, so we'll see what the last pick's going to be. Jug, Venge, good physical damage. We've got Sniper and Jug is kind of your 1-2 punch. It looks like that puts Lina onto the support role. All LG
10
Gaming still missing
seconds
is
to
going to be
pick.
their offlaner, which this point is somewhat limited because your
5
big ones have
seconds.
been
Hurry,
taken or
hurry.
banned out. The Tide's gone, the Clockwork banned out, as is the Phoenix now. So options a bit more limited as
Dire
far as that
team are
offlane is
picking.
concerned for LGD.
There's still Bristleback, and there's still that Axe I was saying before. So we
Yeah.
could potentially see that, but they do need, I would say one of those two would be top candidates. They need a beefy frontliner to help out with
Fine.
someone like a Sniper
Leave.
who's
She
trying to
like
just
it.
kind of, steer in the back and just dish out as much damage as possible without really getting into the real fray of the fight. So, and you already have Lina and Vengeful Spirit. These ladies, they can be pretty frail in their own right, so they need a bit of meat. They're actually going to go with a Night Stalker
Ooh.
here, who isn't typically good on his own in the off lane, so we could potentially either see an aggro or maybe some dual lanes come out from LGD. That's a very interesting one, but he's been very good for a lot of the teams. Like EG have recently picked it up in conjunction with like a Zeus, where you just want more presence in the map, you know, be more controlling, dominating. And when you have heroes like Tidehunter, Sand King, hell, even Queen of Pain, Morphling, these are heroes who need to initiate and like close that gap to just get into the fight. Well, when you can't see a whole lot because of that darkness, then it becomes a bit of a problem. So I really love this late Night Stalker grab.
Well, we did it. We've managed to beat the odds. Troll Warlord picked or banned 100% of games since March 30th.
This is history.
That changes.
This is history, people. Take it in, all right? I don't know, 300 pro matches, that's what someone threw out on the Reddit about, you know, the statistic odds there, but this is it. It sounds like I welcome it. I certainly do.
Yep.
Ignore it. We'll just ignore it, and then maybe it'll go.
So basically, we don't need a new patch. Everything's fine. The hero is not as bad as people are saying. Yep.
Yeah, please.
Valve can extend their holidays in Hawaii for another week for all we can now with Troll gone.
Watch them like subbing someone else ridiculous. Then Earthspear kind of steps in, and we're like, okay, we'll have more heroes to ignore, I guess, from here on out.
Yep.
But we'll start things off like we always do with a pause. No, but you know, they'll wait it out here for now. It's a little bit of a hiccup to hopefully we get underway. Maybe more bathroom breaks are necessary. Of course, people, apologies on the bit of a tardy start. You know, we had to make sure everyone had their ducks in a row. Players were all groomed and ready. The air conditioning was at an appropriate level for them. The chairs were at the right height. Good squishiness. Maybe they needed an extra pad. Their mouse was adjusted. You know, these kind of things, God. So you can play your best possible Dota in the finals. So.
I mean, for us casters, it's simple. Just give us a computer and give us a Red Bull or two, and I'm happy. I'm good to go. And, well, we're just waiting for the teams, unfortunately.
All right, so now that we've seen the draft at hand, we got our full 5-on-5 spread. We didn't really get to talk a whole lot about EHOME's last pick, which they decided to go with the Sand King. I was anticipating Lanham playing the role of more of a support Rubik, but he's going to be taking the role of the more greedy support here. And we just don't see this hero quite enough. The only time I've seen it come up as of recent, teams have been experimenting or rolling with the off-lane Sand King. But here they're kind of going back a few pages, or you know, maybe back a couple of metas, you could say, and bringing him back, but who can really offer a lot as far as team fight. I mean, this is potential wombo combo in the making here, Gods, for EHOME. This could be something of note, and seeing a hero like this gets me really excited. Him, Magnus, Enigma, Tidehunter, these get me excited as a caster, and I'm sure it gets a lot of people excited as a viewer. And actually, I'm going to take this brief moment to do a DC.
Okay. Seems to be on the clear here. Just some early warding. Both teams trying to scout each other out a bit, so nothing too crazy. I think the one nice thing about the Sand King pick is often, I think, Tidehunter, one of his biggest weaknesses that we see with a lot of teams is that you have to fight around his ultimate cooldown, and as soon as you use that Ravage, the other team can then take Roshan, take towers, go for a push. But Sand King gives you that team fight or that good initiation such that you're not as reliant on the Tide Ravage to start off a fight or to have a really big ulti, and then when it's down, it still feels like EHOME can team fight. Not even just because of Epi's but just Blink Burrow Strike being a good AoE stun, good gap closer onto your sniper, on some of these squishy supports. You can initiate on someone like a Jug before you can Blade Fury. Gives you some good initiation tools.
Begin the digital sport.
See the horn go, and well, it doesn't look like you're missing out on too much early action here. Yeah. For your dire side, Gallop bottom lane. He's gonna get initiated on. He's playing your off lane Night Stalker, but very tanky hero. Stout shield, lots of regen. Won't be going down to this 2-hero combo. We'll get harassed and zone out of the lane. Elsewhere on the LG side, mid lane's gonna be maybe on the sniper. In the jungle for now, Xiaowei on the support Vengeful Spirit. Up top, it's gonna be MMY playing the Lina, and it's gonna be Sylar playing the Juggernaut, Team LGD. Oh yeah. And the thing you mentioned, like just the small thing of Rubik tanking the creep so that the range creep doesn't die first coming out, that makes a big difference for this lane. It means Yao is not getting any XP. It pushed out really far and he can't pull the way back. He's a Night Stalker. He has no way to really get XP out of this lane. So a small thing like that, and this is how you win your safe lane. As DDC will now control the runes. Yao can just stack Ancients. Very little he can do now that play has happened, and Sand King can just stack the jungle. He doesn't actually have to help zone it all in the lane. He's just been busy doing his own thing. And it looks like actually Sand King Rubik going to go for an early smoke gank. Night Stalker's thinking, okay, I'm kind of getting zoned out here. There's a Rubik illusion still down here, which he doesn't know is an illusion, and suddenly there's going to be a real Rubik and Sand King popping up in lane. Oh. This illusion, and it's scouted up by a ward and everything. So it's spotted by the ward, so they really think it's maybe real here. But Yao comes in, he'll actually reveal the smoke gank.
First blood.
First blood on the sand strikes the perfect note.
Yep, that's a good quick pickup for EHOME. The one struggle for them as far as getting off to a really good start now is going to be getting Lan at his level 3. That's when you can really start jungling using your Sandstorm, and he's got very little XP so far. Not something that's going to change unless he starts leeching the bottom lane or going for that safe lane creep pull, which he may have to do. Like, he can keep stacking for now, but he's not farming the jungle until he hits level 3. Level 1 Sandstorm just doesn't cut it. So that's going to be the one challenge for them, is finding a way to get up to that point. But once they've got that, I think EHOME's early game is looking really solid.
Haste.
Just securing the sniper to at least prevent that same smoking from happening towards the mid lane, and make sure that maybe has that protection should Inflame try and get it great. If Inflame blinks forward, he's just straight up dead to a magic missile shrapnel, which is a play that sometimes Queen of Pains look to make when they're in a straight up 1v1. They can blink for the higher gun and start trading right click, but not going to see it happen. Bottom lane. Okay. Yeah. I think just some casual harass. Morphling, who was full mana, so it doesn't really... it does cost him his salve, but this is a salve he wants to use and shoot through anyways. And meanwhile, Lamb on the Sand King getting his level 3 in the jungle with a Mud Golem camp. So good stuff. Good play coming out from him.
Radiant's top tower is under siege. Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
I am great. Regeneration.
This sustains, gold remains. Radiant
like
have
kind of the
fortified
only
their
move he kind of
towers.
can make at this point. This bottom lane is
Radiant's top tower
proving too
is being
difficult to get
attacked.
anything out of, so making a kind of smart move to try and transition, but not going to... Well, maybe to find a kill here. They got the magic missile, and there we go. They won't even need the jug. They'll get the kill on your Tidehunter and look to follow this up with that tier 1 tower.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked. Radiant has lost their top tower.
Oh yeah, he finally got his level 3 and then farmed up the triple stack over to the right side of the jungle, so he just got his first stack there. This second big stack is going to get him up to maybe like 1800, and he'll have a 9-10 minute blink dagger at this rate. This is a pretty scary timing coming out for your Sand King. The good start he had. He did pick up the first blood, so you should expect him to get a good blink timing, but the stall came from getting his level 3, which did take
Someone
6
left,
minutes plus.
but they're going to miss the...
Digital Sports.
Pain is the best teacher.
I think not.
Does probably, I don't know about worth it for the Night Stalker, but it's good that the Queen of Pain ultimate gets put on cooldown. Makes it a bit
Dire's
safer
bottom
for the
tower
sniper to stay
under
mid lane,
fire.
since that bit of burst damage
Dire
is missing.
have
But
fortified their
from
towers.
Night Stalker's point of view, obviously not wanting to go down there. But bottom lane, now we're seeing the
Dire's
kind of
bottom
the same
tower
play
is
we
being
saw
attacked.
LGD make at the top lane, where EHOME are going to pressure this tier 1, but LGD much more prepared to rotate in here to defend this one. They bring in the Venge, Wave of Terror to draw the aggro off, and not going to be easy to push down this tier 1 tower, even with the Ring of Aquila aura up on ZYF's Morphling. Do you see the ward expire in front of them? So you get that little death animation when wards expire. So they'll realize, oh crap, we're being scattered out. They know we're there, and maybe adjust their next moves accordingly. But there's this smoke coming out in the courier, so they see a smoke come out here. Double Mask of Man is picked up at the same time on the Dire side, so Jug can accelerate his farm in the jungle. Sniper, similarly in the mid lane, can look to kind of accelerate his farm, but also just offer a lot more to his team with this pickup.
Fancy.
Oh! That replicate.
Radiant's middle tower is taking damage.
Oh, they really want the Sand King too. He was like 20 gold short of this Blink Dagger. Now he picks it up from the side shop. He's ready with a Blink
Radiant's
Initiation.
middle tower is
This could be
being
a kill
attacked.
coming in the way of EHOME. Should LGD, they need to just let this tower go, I feel. They are not ready to defend this.
Dire's bottom tower is in pieces.
Oh yeah, I think for EHOME they're just going to look at this Morphling and say Morphling is on track to become that late game threat. As a hero, Morphling is going to scare... going to be a lot more versatile than a Jug going towards the late game just because of the hero's ability to just... I guess both can kind of burst down kills really quickly, but as far as how the two match up head-to-head, it feels like Morphling has the slight edge there, but... The X factor can come from some of the other heroes. The Sniper is on the Dire side. The Queen of Pain we've seen kind of get on the scoreboard at least now so far with the 1 kill and the 1 assist, and it looks like they want to keep that play up. They actually Smokers 5 EHOME. This is going to get to the point where it's a bit too obvious. They Blitz Burrow Strike mid lane. Yao going to get initiated on. The Light Strike array off the mark, and Yao actually maybe back to safety. 5 hero smoke and they don't get the kill off of it. Yao just too tanky.
Stricken.
Radiant's top tower is under siege. Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
Yep. I think it's a big part. They're actually a lot scary if they're team fighting and 5-manning with a mech on type than a blink, since they've got a Sand King with a blink, and even just in general, like that's what's going to keep them alive and negate a lot of the damage coming out from the Jug Omni Slash. It also gives armor, the Shrapnel AoE damage, and the Lina nukes, so it is going to be a nice pickup that I don't think LGD will be really prepared for. They can try and burst down single target focus one hero to kind of bypass the mech, but that's about all they're going to do. It feels like EHOME are going to come out on top of any straight on team fight during the time that this mech is online for at least the first 5-10 minutes. Yep. It's... Yep.
Radiant's bottom tower
Unfortunately for them,
under
like
fire.
they knew ROTK was at these Ancients. They saw him de-ward. They had an Observer Ward blocking the spawn,
Dire's
but
middle
they
tower
can't get to the
taking
Ancients
damage.
from the Radiant jungle. Unless that T1 comes down, you can't swing through
Radiant's bottom tower
from
has
this
fallen.
Radiant jungle into the other side of the map towards the Ancients without getting revealed. So it was just like an awkward smoke gank for that reason. Unless they found someone in the EHOME jungle, they weren't going to find any kills. And EHOME had 3 heroes around that mid-tier 1. They had tied to the Ancients. They did not expose anyone for a kill. But LGD say, well, you guys are going to stay on your side of the map or far away from your own jungle. We're going to take advantage of this. And not even really sneak erosion. They just walk in and just take this with ease.
Dire's top tower is under siege. Roshan has fallen to the Dire. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is being attacked. Dire's top tower is under... Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is being attacked. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower is taking Dire's top tower is being attacked.
I'm sorry. Did you say?
Radiant's middle tower has been denied. Bastards.
Double kill.
Pain in the...
Killing spree.
Radiant's
Triple
middle tower is
kill.
being attacked.
I'll take that as tribute.
And it was exactly who won in that fight. The Jug, I think it was an okay decision for EHOME to burst down the Jug. Yeah, he's Nage and he's coming back, but he's in a deep position at that point. All he can do is like throw an Omni Slash and kind of play defensively, but the sniper laying down the triple shrapnel in that fight, they couldn't run from the Jug when he respawned. They couldn't kite him around because the shrapnel slow was just too much, not to mention the damage output from it. It was not a bad fight for them. The Tide even got off a pretty good mech into Ravage. I guess the Ravage only caught, I think, 2 in the end, but from EHOME's point of view, it looked like it was a pretty well-executed defense. Just sniper, too strong with the shrapnel. Yeah. As far as farm goes, EHOME's still looking pretty decent. They're still in this game, and 1,000 gold lead at this point is absolutely nothing. I don't even think you can really call that a lead most of the time, considering you're 18 minutes in. So, as far as farm goes, though, EHOME have it much more kind of widespread. It's not all concentrated towards enemies that are top lane. They're going. They pick that guy down with this, and the follow-up. I don't know if it's going to be enough damage. He hasn't sound about half HP, but it's the Queen of Pain going for the sniper.
Face your death.
All right. Yes. That seems pretty decent as far as EHOME are concerned, so I'll now continue getting what they can elsewhere on the map. Morphling completed, Lincoln Sphere is up. And I feel like EHOME, their lineup is not exactly in its strongest point right now. It's about 4 or 5 minutes from now when they have the E-Blade Lincolns on Morphling and the Blink on Tide. That's when they're going to be reaching their peak, and that's going to be when they really want to try and fight. Until that point, it's stack your Ancients, farm efficiently, try take pickoffs here or there. I mean, you push towers if you feel it's safe, and with your big ultimates, maybe it is safe, but once they get this T1 tower, I don't imagine they stick around much longer. Wow. I saw Sniper doing this with his Mithril Hammer, but the Jug going for a BKB as well, and this is... I mean, this is the answer to the Ravage, well, the Tide as well as the Sanking, and even preemptively to a Morphling going Ethereal Blade, but it's not the item that generally your Jug wants to go this early, so it will slow down his farm. So in that point of view, yeah, right now it's maybe a 1,000 net worth lead for LGD, but they're not getting the best farming tool. They're getting defensive items which don't allow them to maximize their damage output necessarily in a fight. So I feel like this is kind of a move EHOME want to force them into, because especially if they can drag this game late, these BKBs being picked up this early are going to get kind of down to 5-second BKBs a lot faster than they otherwise would normally do so if they were picked up as like a 3rd or 4th item for your Juggernaut. Oh yeah. Yeah. They didn't see the smoke, but this ward in the enemy jungle, and they have a ward in their own jungle, they don't see LGD in LGD's jungle, they don't see them in EHOME's jungle. This is about as obvious as it gets that the smoke just happened based on their vision. So the fact they have both these 2 fantastic wards in the top and bottom jungle means they can read LGD's movement around the map really well, even when they don't see the smoke itself. They can just kind of put 2 and 2 together You've got Queen of Pain hiding in the trees, and the rest of the team just grouped up.
That should help.
Yep. Are they? Yeah, it was the Juggernaut at mid lane when they jumped that mid tier 1 side. So. Yeah, I think they want to wait for that E-Blade. The first team fight we see probably around... at some point, I guess Morphling can look just for pickoffs with his E-Blade. It's going to be interesting, because that's when LGD are going to kind of use these 10-second BKBs for the first time. But EHOME can still fight around that. They may get the jump with like a Burrow Strike before someone BKBs. E-Blade can force someone to use a BKB earlier than they would like to. And that's one of the really nice things about a Morphling E-Blade. If you just throw that at a Sniper or something, or a Juggernaut at the start of a fight, they're forced to either Blade Fury or BKB in the case of the Jug, or Sniper may have to BKB when he's not using it to fight, and then you just back off and wait for the BKBs to expire. Yeah. Maybe this next Roshan. It's now respawned, scattered out by LGD. It feels like if EHOME just wait, sit back, farm up this E-Blade on Morphling, if they lose that first fight around like their Blink, Ravage, Epicenter, and their Morphling E-Blade, because they could easily lose that. LGD are going to have triple BKB and potentially your Aegis on their side. With how fast LGD took Roshan last time, we could see the same thing happen again. It just could just straight up be game over. Flame. Okay.
Double kill.
Radiant's bottom tower under fire. Dire's middle tower taking damage. Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
Yeah, that was so nice. And even I think the Sniper who got his BKB off doesn't get hit. It's all the supporting crew. You need to lean their life, the burst down here with Laguna Blade. You don't want to be having everyone hit by it as it just was. And now the BKB is down to 9 seconds, and every fight like that really hurts LGD. Not just for the gold exchange, but because those BKBs getting shorter and shorter. And that's going to be crucial as this game drags on. And on the EHOME side, you're picking up those big late game items. Your E-Blade comes up. Queen of Pain's got 2.5k gold. Across the board, there's a lot of farm up, and here we go. Zeboyef, he's hunting, and maybe could be in some trouble here. He's got the Mask of Madness on. He could go for this kill, but doesn't seem like that's his idea. He's even got the replica to get out of there, should he need to. LGD now that they were that was meant to be, I guess, in some ways their Roshan. They had the double BKB, they were close to their third BKB on Night
Dire's bottom
Stalker.
tower is being attacked.
They smoked aggressively to try and
Dire's
get that pick
structures
off and then
are
move into the Roshan
fortified.
pit, but it backfired with EHOME just getting off that big team fight. So that really kind of sets them back
Dire's
as far
bottom
as
tower under
their
fire.
strategy moving forward was get a pick off, take Roshan, and then probably take tier 2 towers. Even against the big team fight ultimates, they could take objectives just using the
Dire's
sniper
bottom
range
tower
and
is
using the fact they
fallen.
had that Aegis to protect one of their core heroes. But now they find themselves in a position where they have no real way to take objectives. All they can do is sit back and try stall out the Aegis and try not get picked apart by this Morphling E-Blade.
Gold for me.
Yep. Definitely still at a point where execution could lead to a good team fight for LGD. Even with the Aegis on this Radiant side, they time these BKBs and use them well in a fight and get kind of the lockdown on someone like a Queen of Pain or even just a Tide Hunter. With an Omni Slash and you BKB at the right time, Tide will go down from full to nothing. Just gonna be very careful with Jug up to level 17, picking up the Skull Basher now as well, so far from a decisive lead for EHOME, but definitely a lead right now. Gold aside, they've got many more options as far as how to play things moving forward. Right now they're splitting the map. They've got the Queen of Pain pushing out the top lane, the Morphling in mid lane, and then the supporting cast kind of sitting behind the Morphling, trying to see if LGD get too aggressive so that they could find a pick off.
Dire's top tower is under siege. Dire's top tower is under siege. Dire's top tower is being attacked. Dire's top tower is under siege.
Yao, I think, kind of forgot that. Like, once that BKB wears off, you're paper. You may be a Night
Dire's
Stalker
middle
and in the
tower is
lane
being
stage, one of the
attacked.
tankiest heroes there is, but at this stage of the game, that shotgun, that Blink Bar Strike is going to tear you apart.
Dire's middle tower
You've got
taking
Yao
damage.
now, RTK now, like, aggressively zoning out
is
heroes
now
away
but
from
a
these towers. I'll
memory.
take a tier 2 tower and EHOME. Going from tier 2 to tier 2, not really, even with the Aegis, not really in a position to breach high ground yet. I feel like they're at least one more item away in a Morphling. If Morphling had like a Skadi or a Manta style on top of his current items and another
Dire's
Aegis,
top
then you'd be
tower is
considering
being
high ground. But
attacked.
with just the E-Blade Lincolns, this is not really your best pushing item for Morphling, so they'll go for the last tier 2 tower.
Dire's top tower is destroyed.
Killing spree. Ownage. Dominating. Double kill.
Radiant's bottom tower under fire.
Mega kill. Triple kill.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
That was just a sick bar
Radiant's
strike.
bottom tower
Oh.
under fire.
He hit more with his stun than RTK did.
Dire's
RTK
middle
got 2
tower
in his
is
ravage. That was a good ravage, but it was the bar strike. That was
Radiant's
the
bottom
real
tower
ravage of
under
that
fire.
fight. And now they will break the high ground with 3 heroes on the sidelines. They'll
Dire's middle tower
force
taking
Silent back,
damage.
and Silent without a BKB, all he can do is kind of fall back to the Blade Fury to maybe get away from an E-Blade or
Dire's middle
that way
tower
out.
is now but a memory. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
That should help.
Oh yeah, this is looking like a much more polished EHOME squad, and just a great kind of rivalry and matchup. ROTK and Xiaowei, these two captains have been captaining some of the best squads in China for some time. Even going back to TI4, it was these two captains in that grand final. They know each other well. They kind of have a good read on how each other play. So one day it may be Xiaowei getting the best of ROTK, but give it a few days, ROTK will figure out a plan and bounce back, and that's what's happening here, at least in game one. This is a best-of-5 series, and that's where things are going to get really interesting moving forward in this series, is how the teams will adapt their drafts, their play styles, and how they'll mix things up as they kind of either fall behind in the series or even get ahead. Right now, it's like EHOME with the melee racks advantage in a good position to take this game one. Here we go. Yep.
I'll take your tribute.
Shrapnel!
Nope. I think worried about Roshan, which could have respawned any time within the last 60 seconds. It hasn't done so just yet. It's a fairly long Rosh respawn, but they're coming and making a move towards the pit, worried about what EHOME are up to, and not going to find anyone in the pit, but maybe this Radiant jungle's where they'll find a pickup. But they are smoking into that Refresher Tidehunter. Could be a recipe for disaster if they don't get the BKBs off and get those quick early pickups. Unfortunately for them, they see no one, and they're going to check Roshan, but nothing's in the pit. Yeah.
Barracks are under attack. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Killing spree! Dominating! Double kill!
Oh, that's huge. That's Roche as well. They just gotta stick around. Wait for it, LGD. Wait for it. They'll leave the healing ward in there. I think they'll scout Roshan. There it goes. It respawns as the Jug TP back to base, unfortunately, but they've still got 45 seconds. Yeah, they're gonna have to work on this Roche. Jug's already making a beeline towards the pit. Big team fight, and I think it's just another fight. You look at the big team fight that EHOME won last time, it's the Sanking initiating. Not to say that, I mean, Sanking at a 3-hero Burrow Strike was a great play from Lamb, but Sanking as initiator is just a more reliable initiator because he can hit the stuns before the BKBs come out. Ravage has the travel time. You can dodge both the Night Stalker and the Juggernaut, both dodge that first Ravage. Only a Vengeful Spirit got caught in it, and that didn't cut it. He didn't even get the second Ravage off. He popped the Refresher, but then he had mana problems. He used the mech in the fight, he used an Anchor Smash, and as a result, he didn't have mana for a second Ravage, and he has to wait to use it because he has to wait for the BKBs to expire, so Does feel like Sand King's maybe the one they want initiating and having the Tide Ravage to follow things up.
Shrapnel!
I think the other big thing is it was nighttime. So Yao actually, I don't know if I think he saw EHOME before EHOME actually got vision in bottom lane. With that nighttime vision, that did give LGD a bit of an advantage. That's one of the big reasons why Night Stalker is picked up, because so many teams use their smokes and fight around nighttime. And even a Night Stalker without an Accept can still give you that vision advantage at night, which I believe may have been the case during that fight.
Fortified.
Not so fast.
Yeah.
A gift from the goddess.
Oh yeah. We'll see how things can progress. The other big kind of spell
Radiant's
slash
middle
item we didn't get to
tower
see
is
used
taking
too well last
damage.
time was the Hex, the Queen of Pain Hex. Another thing which can, in theory, counter the BKBs. If you get a jump with someone with a Blink Hex, you can make sure that the
Radiant's
Ravage
middle
hits them because
tower
they can't
is
pop the
being
BKB while they're Hexed.
No
You can then
more
chain
middle
stun
tower
first
for
down.
Radiant.
But this
Dire's
wasn't to
top
be. This
tower
time
is
around,
being
EHOME just
attacked.
continue to split push. While this Aegis is up, they say, we don't really want a team fight. Morphling gets some good damage to the tier 3 bottom, then he goes top. Both tier 3 towers still standing, down to around half HP or lower, so this is just nice play coming out from your Morphling. This has just been a stellar Morphling performance. This is, from the get-go, this has been really solid, and I think we're going to be seeing more Morphling as a carry, just because of how well he does match up against the Jug, the Trolls, the Snipers with his huge armor. He's sitting on 29 armor right now, just from stats alone. That is one of the better ways of dealing with physical damage.
Double damage!
Ooh. I think the big thing for the Morphling in this game is he can split push all he wants as long as he's got a replicate up. There is nothing to catch him out. There's no Hex, there's no Silence. I mean, there's a Night Stalker, but for Night Stalker to run up and get a Silence off on the Morphling, he can instantly Manta it and then still replicate out. So as long as he's got a replicate up, I don't really see any way this Morphling can die when he's solely split pushing until there's like a Scythe of Vice or something that comes out for LGD. And who's building a Scythe of Vice this game? I don't really see a good target to do so. So this is looking like a Morphling that if he doesn't want a team fight, no problem, because there is no answer to his split push. He's just going to keep on farming until he gets 6 slotted. He's going to chip away at the tier 3 towers and just cause all sorts of problem on the map if LGD try and 5-man. Yep. They'll know LGD's next move is going to be coming bottom lane to push things out, deal with the Morphling split push. So they set up a high ground ward. They'll see LGD come next and go in. Bottom lane, grab a couple. They can refresh that one sniper and nice little point BKB, but the buyback immediately from your leader. He wants to turn this fight around, but LGD pulls back, force the buybacks out, and it's a good, clean initiation from EHOME to get a couple of pickups. As a replicate.
Mega kill.
Yep. Seems the teamfight just doesn't work. The Jug just getting too massive. Like, you go on that Morphling, even if you don't kill him like right away, the fact he has to morph to full strength and go up to 5k HP means he can't really fight too well. He doesn't do damage. His E-Blade does next to nothing. He becomes that strength-style Morphling where he can have 4-second stuns, but he's that damage for the most part. If anything, EHOME just need to entirely just fall back on the split push and not go for those kinds of risky teamfights. That was a Rubik blinking in to initiate. It started off okay with the 2 kills, but the ensuing teamfight was a disaster. Jug, just massive. Also a great pickup with the Blink Dagger. This is the item you need. I was thinking, like, what's going to help him out against this Morphling Queen of Pain? How do you deal with the split push? And it is going to be, and Blink Dagger is the only way. Jug has to be the initiator, like a Blink Abyssal Blade. That's going to be how they start off a fight.
Gift from the goddess.
Shrapnel!
I think he wants a refresher. He just picked up an Oblivion Staff, and this is like what Pycat was really rushing the refresher when he would play Queen of Pain, getting it like as his second or third item after like a scythe with an like a scythe axe refresher or something. But great item when you've got the Hex because you get 2 Hexes, but more importantly, well, just as importantly, you get 2 Sonic Waves in quick succession. So that's a huge portion of your damage when you're against all these BKBs. You want that Sonic Wave in a team fight. And having 2 with a refresher gives you a lot. Okay. Just once that smoke wears off, EHOME have got to realize they've lost the vision advantage. There's a Nightstalk with an axe. They see everything right now. That's a Blink Abyssal. Awkward, yeah. Very awkward fight for both. I mean, both teams, and LGD had the EHOME smoke messed up, and then okay, we can't really keep fighting because LGD have a Nightstalk with LGD coming. But then LGD, when they tried to fight, didn't quite get that clean initiation with the Jug Blink Dagger, so ended up just not really leading to too much. And Roshan respawning this fast is going to go the way of EHOME. Or at least it looks like they're going for it, but here comes LGD.
Double kill. Ownage.
Bloody murder.
That was good of you.
Roshan's blood is spilled. The Radiance
Yeah.
shed no tears. Farewell, sweet angel.
Yep. They're going for another lane of Rax, I think. Morphling, he's stuck in the trees. There we go. Gets 4 stuff down. With Ravage, they've still got 1 Ravage. They've still got an Epicenter. They've still got big ultis to go. Just the Sonic Wave missing. They're going for that second lane of Rax, knowing
Dyer's
that there's
middle
limited
tower taking
buybacks. Juggernaut's
damage.
down to a 5-second BKB,
Dyer
and
have
this is really the
fortified
problematic
their
part of this stage of the game. All the BKBs and LGD sides, they're down to 5
Dyer's
seconds.
top tower is
As soon as
under-
these fights start
Dyer's
getting
top
extended,
tower
that's
has
where
fallen.
Tidehunter, Sand can get a much bigger impact now because of these short BKBs.
Dyer's top barracks has fallen. Dyer's middle tower is being attacked. Dyer's bottom tower is in pieces.
Quiet's magic.
Killing spree. Ownage.
Dyer's bottom barracks are
Dominating.
Cast upon the tides.
Mega kill. Triple kill.
Dyer's bottom barracks has fallen. Radiant victory.
Oh, it's the team from the lower bracket coming through strong. And they mentioned the BKBs getting down to 5 seconds. I think the other big items that came up in those last few fights was just Ghost Scepters. Your Tide having a Ghost Scepter. Your supports on the Queen of Pain also had a Ghost Scepter. That